It's something that I know that'll motivate me.
There is a back-to-back Super Bowl champion.
I promise you next year we'll go for that three-peat. First time in NFL history, we doing it.
Saquon hasn't able to take us to the next level.
Saquon Barkley, you're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
All we've been through, even this moment right here.
Bottom of the hour from New Orleans, a Super Bowl edition of More or Less. Domonique, 24 completions for Patrick Mahomes, more or less.
I definitely think he goes for more. They've been a short passing team, and I think the Eagles are designed to give up the short pass. They're not going to want Mahomes standing in the pocket, allowing Jalen Carter to get after him. They're going to get rid of the ball and and make sure he gets 24 or more completions in this game.
Lewis, Saquon Barkley, 120 rushing yards, more or less.
I'm going to go with history as far as Steve Spagnuolo is concerned. Since he's been with Kansas City, I'm going to say less. Ooh. I'm going to say he's going to keep him under that number somehow, some way. Look, they know if he goes out there and he's averaging over 32 yards per scoring play, then they ain't going to win the game. So it can't be him. They can't allow it be him, so I'm going to say less. I hope I'm not wrong.
Maybe that opens it up for the quarterback. Jeff, 1.5 touchdown passes for Jalen Hurts, more or less.
I'm going more for the exact same reason that Lou is talking about. I think they're going to stack the line. They're going to blitz. They're going to try to blitz Hurts. It's going to open up for A.J. Brown, for Smith, for Goddard, and for Barkley out of the backfield. A little dump-off pass to Barkley, who can take it very, very far, very, very quickly. So I'm going more there.
Okay, so we opened the show talking about Saquon Barkley, and that's the obvious place that the conversation begins for the Eagles offense this season. Assuming that the Chiefs and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, they figure something out. They donate all their resources that they need to making sure he doesn't beat them. What does that mean for the passing game for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith?
I think it means a big day, and it's scary for the Chiefs secondary. So A.J. Brown is the type of player that you do not want in isolation. He's so good. He's so big. He's so, like, this is a good jam right here. Like, as a cornerback, I feel like I won this rep. No, not when it's against A.J. He's going to create enough space to catch the ball. Again, he's a big target. Everyone's locked in. Even the corners are locked in the backfield for this touchdown, and this speaks to what Jeff's stat is. Here's another situation where A.J., you normally as a defensive back, you want to get your hands on the receiver. A.J.'s not that guy. You give him your body, he's going to use it against you and turn it into a big play after he catches it. Again, you don't want to press him. See, he has inside position. He has his hands on him. That's a win for the corner, not against A.J. Brown. He uses his right arm to throw him by, and he makes a big play out of it. It's something that I'd be concerned with. If I were the Chiefs, I would try to use stunts and other type of ways to slow down a rushing attack so I don't have to leave my corners isolated.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to double Brown and then play McDuffie over on top of Smith. What's the play? Because here's the deal. Devonta Smith, he's played the Chiefs 3 times, all 3 games. Over 6 yards, over 6 catches each game, over 99 yards each game, and 2 explosive plays each game. So the 3 games he's played, he has been massively productive. Expect a big day out of him if they decide to try to lock out A.J. Brown.
Yep. I mean, really, for me, for the Chiefs secondary, it's about where's the help coming from as far as when you're talking about A.J. Brown, number 1. And 2, you have to make Jalen Hurts get off of A.J. Brown and get him somewhere else. Because if you do that, what does that do? The clock is ticking, and then Steve can get other free rushers on him. But you have to make him come off of him. If it's too easy for him, if he wins off the line of scrimmage and you don't know where the help's coming from, then you're in trouble as a Kansas City Chiefs secondary.
We've seen some stuff this year with the Eagles over the course of their season, including that little ripple that they had there. What's wrong with the passing game? All that kind of stuff. What kinds of things? What kinds of things have they been saying this week in particular? The quarterback.
I mean, they feel like they've shown it, right? That they can win the game on Jalen Hurts' arm if they need to. And obviously, this is the biggest game against the toughest defensive coordinator and all that. But Jalen Hurts is confident. He was here 2 years here. He was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and he feels like he was talking yesterday how he feels that gives them some help this time they didn't have, right? Like we talk about the Chiefs being here every year. They know like halftime's extra long and all the different things that come with being in the Super Bowl. But the Eagles have guys that were here in the Super Bowl 2 years ago and know that as well. But Jalen Hurts, someone asked him at his press conference yesterday, do you have draw any kind of secret motivation from your doubters? And he said, it's no secret. That was the whole answer. It was like, next question. So, no, they believe that he can do it. They believe that they've shown they can do it. Their preference is to open those holes for Saquon and let him run for 60 yards. But if they have to go to the passing game, they have confidence.
And I think it's important to remember that Jalen Hurts was awesome in that Super Bowl, with the exception of one fumble. So while the experience might help him play better, he didn't have it last time. And he was incredible in that game with these talented receivers in the O-line that just like protects him. So I think that getting pressure on Jalen Hurts, like all quarterbacks, they're worse. You got to figure out how Steve is going to try to get pressure on him and force him to attack the middle of the field and not pick on those receivers where they have on the outside.
I want to say this about Jalen Hurts. It's not just the passing game. He is productive in their run game. Jalen Hurts is going to be a centerpiece whether they are running the football or throwing it. Because if Spags decides to blitz to take Saquon, him pulling the ball and getting outside, he can take it 40 and 50. Don't minimize his role because passing yards might look diminished. This game is going to be boiled down to can Jalen Hurts stand up and answer the call.
Let's go back to this because you played for Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. So you played for two of the greatest defensive coaches of all time. And my head is spinning listening to all the things the Eagles can do. Well, they've got Saquon Barkley. If that doesn't work, then the quarterback can run. If the quarterback doesn't run, then he's got A.J. Brown. If he's got Devontae Smith. There's so many things. So if you're the defensive coordinator, you're Steve Spagnuolo, what is it that you're going into this game saying, all right, we're doing this and we'll live with this? What are you not living with and what are you living with?
I mean, really, it's pretty simple. Look, 26 has to be neutralized or contained, period. And that means, look, on first and second down in particular, that will determine the game. Just watch first and second. Again, if that bug on the bottom of the screen says 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, the Chiefs are in trouble. They're in trouble. If it says 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, that means on first down, either one, Saquon is averaging 2 yards, 3 yards a pop, 1 yard, and then when it's 2nd and long, now you can unleash all of your pass rush packages. Now you can start getting tricky in the back end as far as changing the picture pre-snap as opposed to post-snap. And you want to put it in number one's hands. It's as simple as that. And I know people are going to say, well, we have A.J. Brown, we have Dallas Goedert, we have Devontae Smith. Well, in the words of Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, we want to make them play to their weakness. And right now their weakness is, can you throw the football consistently? Their strength is this. Look, you're talking about a guy in Saquon Barkley, 20 touchdowns. His average scoring distance is 32.5 yards. You've got to take that away and neutralize that somehow. You just do, and that's where you start.
And, Dan, for all the talk about the Chiefs and their inevitability and everything, I think to some degree the Eagles season has flown a little under the radar in the build-up to this. They haven't lost a game since September that Jalen Hurts finished. Right? The only game they lost in that entire time was when he got knocked out with the concussion against Washington that needed a crazy comeback and a crazy finish to beat them. So the Eagles have been every bit as good as the Chiefs have been this year, if in the big picture, if not better.
They have, and defensively they're at the very top of the league, and where they were at the bottom last year. So that's been a big part of it. But yeah, look, I mean, I think the standard is high for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, given what he did early in his career and getting to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I think people want to see that guy, and the fact that there was like a step back with the team last year has kind of created a situation where there is more doubt, right? So, yeah, they could be – I don't know. They also were one of 3 teams in the NFC to win 14 games, and they got to the Super Bowl without having to play either of the other 2. So some things have kind of fallen their way as well. But, yeah.
Well, we can make everybody in Philadelphia mad right now. And, you know, they're easily aggrieved. Let's put the pics up on the screen. Oh, boy. There you go.
Yeah, but
take your screenshots.
Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty.
I just think you have to, though. Like, how do you not pick the Chiefs in this game? Like,
look, I mean, look, there's going to be Eagles fans. Look, I flew down here with a bunch of Eagles fans. I heard them in the back end. And you know what the number one thing they kept saying? They kept saying, yeah, but they got Andy. And they got Spags. And then there's that annoying guy, number 15, who still always seems to win. They see the same thing.
I feel like after we had this conversation about the Eagles and then to put up this pick bar, like it does make me feel kind of stupid. Because we're like, hey, we're going to make the Eagles beat us left-handed. And then you look at their left hand and it has A.J., Devontae as a finger, Dallas Goedert is a finger. Like their left hand is pretty damn strong.
But you look at the Chiefs' left hand, it's got 3 rings on it.
Our favorite games. Is that ridiculous with Louis Riddick? First up, if I said the Steelers should re-sign Russ and let him cook, is that ridiculous?
Yeah, I think that is ridiculous. Look, I don't think letting him cook is not what the Steelers do anyway. It's never going to be really a quarterback-centric organization. They have a certain way that they like to play the game. I don't think really Russ could put it all on him anyway and carry this football team. I think they're going to be in the market. This is going to be interesting to see what they do between him and Justin Fields, especially considering the coaching staff and maybe how they feel about the quarterbacks that could potentially come back.
Nick, if they're going to keep one of these quarterbacks, which one should it be?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Justin Fields is a guy that they feel like they can build something around and that they want to have there for the long term. I'm not sure that I would have the heart to do that, but I think that that organization is committed to a more a quarterback that's willing to take shots down the field, which Justin Fields was not.
Well, I mean, so you're saying Russell Wilson then is who they should build it around?
No. I think
you would do Justin, but you think they will do Russell.
Yeah.
I think Justin Fields. I think you've seen what Russell Wilson's going to do with the Arthur Smith offense. Arthur likes to run the football. He wants to get guys outside. Justin Fields gives you a much better opportunity. To Nick's point, you got to push the ball down the field. That's what Arthur has to build into Justin Fields. Push the ball down, take the risk, and we'll live with what happens.
Next up, Lewis.
A better receiver that might help.
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson could win his 3rd MVP tonight. With that in mind, if I said Lamar is the best quarterback in the world that doesn't have a championship ring, is that ridiculous?
No, it's not ridiculous at all. And I know many people are going to say, how can you just betray Dan Marino like this? Some of the things that Lamar has done this year, just remember, behind these statistics, they're historical. No one has ever done many of the things that he has done this year and in his career. He has had a historical career. But the fact of the matter is he's going to be judged just like everyone is judged. Whenever we're talking about this GOAT conversation, it's always about Super Bowl rings. Yeah. It's always about that. But you cannot argue what this man has done as far as being a dual threat. As someone who's the ultimate weapon, you can't argue it.
You know, I hadn't interpreted the question as all time. The fact that we're even bringing that into the equation is interesting.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, I mean, but it actually does make some sense, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, three MVPs is 3 MVPs.
That's right.
When Lamar Jackson has been healthy and finished the season, he has won the MVP award, and the Ravens have won their division. Like, pretty much every single time.
Right.
Assuming he's going to win another one tonight. So, yeah, I don't think it's ridiculous at all. Not that it's not my segment, but I don't think so.
But it is Lewis's, so let's give you one more here. If I said the Lions should sell the farm to get that guy, Myles Garrett, is that ridiculous?
That's not ridiculous at all. All season long, what did you talk about on this show and every other show? It was the fact that if the Lions had a closer, especially after Aiden got hurt, or if they had another guy to pair with Aiden Hutchinson, it would make this football team complete. You know, notwithstanding all the other injuries that they had. They should go out and get Myles Garrett. Yep. They have everything as far as management, coaching. They have the right kind of culture that he's looking for. And this guy is a one-man wrecking crew. If Aiden Hutchinson comes back healthy and Aleem McNeil is healthy on the inside, just think about it. You've got it right there. You've got 3 pieces right there that will wreck your dreams. You better go out and get a guy like this.
Myles Garrett wants to be traded, and we know that because he is saying it to anyone who'll listen. He posted it, and then he's going on shows. He's on with Mina Kimes yesterday, and he was with her to talk about what kind of team he's looking to join.
Someone who's in position to contend soon or right away, and I could come in and still play my brand of football. With any playoff team or any championship team, they're going to have a good quarterback. And you've seen some game managers, go out there with a great defense and win it all. But if you want to consistently be at the top, you got to have a really good quarterback. And that's hopefully where I'd find myself.
Anyone who has anything to give up should do it for Myles Garrett.
Go get it.
He's that type of player. We talk a lot about having a centerpiece of your defense that takes a lot of the pressure to allow you to do other things. He is that good. I think the Commanders are another place where you should consider going all in because they have that cap room with the rookie quarterback deal. But what he can do for that Lions defense, I think, would be incredible. They play they want to play a lot of man coverage. He would make, as a cornerback, having Myles Garrett,
best friend.
You would want to hug him after every play because he's going to make your life so much
we
easier.
often talk about the one-piece type teams. That's where guys want. The Detroit Lions are a true one-piece type team, right? They have it. They got the great offensive line. They got the quarterback. They got the running backs, receivers, defensive. They got the corners they want. So when you go somewhere like that, that is the perfect fit for a Myles Garrett. But to Nick's point, any team is a better team the day they sign Myles Garrett. But if I'm Cleveland, I ain't trading him in the AFC. He's going to go somewhere in the NFC where I may have to meet him way late. I dang sure ain't letting him get away somebody close.
Well, to your point, there are one-piece teams. He's more than one piece. Right? Myles Garrett should count as multiple pieces. But at the end of the day, he's asking to be traded. He's talking everywhere about it. But, I mean, the Browns ultimately have to meet him halfway and be willing to do it.
Right?
Well, that's what I mean. If it's
going to happen, right. And so far they're saying they don't want to trade him and they hope that they can mend some fences. Now, he sounds like a man at peace with his decision. it sounds like this is not about money, right? Like you're not going to just, if you're the Browns, be able to give him a big new contract and everybody's happy. So if he is going to be willing to hold out, skip training camp, skip games, right, then the Browns have to get serious about trading him. The problem is they don't have to take that seriously now, right? They can go through free agency and the draft and continue to stay dug in. If they trade him, they take on $36 million in dead cap money this year. That his cap number goes up if they trade him. So for them, not for the acquiring team. So it's going to be tricky for them to do it. They do have a notable quarterback contract that's very hard to work around on their roster that doesn't help with this, but it's going to be tricky.
And they have the second pick in the draft. So here's the way I'm sort of envisioning this. There's a pass rusher named Abdul Carter coming out of Penn State. Maybe you plug him, you draft him, you plug him in there. You got a king's ransom from Myles Garrett. You bring in Kirk Cousins, who's going to cost you absolutely nothing, right? The Falcons are basically paying his entire contract. It's like the Russell Wilson situation from a year ago. Yeah. Cousins played for Kevin Stefanski and had great success there. You can sort of turn things around pretty quickly there in that circumstance.
In theory, right. If you hit on those draft picks and they all turn out to be the types of players that you want them to be, the coaching staff, all that stuff all kind of works together. But I think that, look, this is without a doubt, though. This really is a reflection on the Browns and the fact that they have turned off one of the best players of all time as far as defensive players are concerned. Really, across all positions, you've made him not want to be a part of your organization. You potentially add some things here to where they can become a better team in the long run. But do you trust the Browns to do that at this point?
That's my question with the Browns. Like when you're saying they don't have to address it right now, but part of the Browns' problem is if you don't address it right now and it does get to a holdout situation, you're way late in the game. If you know he's willing to do this and you just have these conversations, he's like, hey, I'm not going to play for you again. To me, it would be advantageous for them to move earlier rather than wait.
That's why the draft is a real pressure point because you know you're getting this year's picks and you know what those picks are.
That's right.
You wait till after the draft, you're trading them somewhere.
Thank you.
You're making that team better. That pick gets worse next year,
That's right?
Yeah, and the longer you wait, this becomes a public relations disaster.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't we just talk about this the other day? They're trying to get a stadium built in Cleveland.
Yeah, well,
the fan base already is behind Myles Garrett. They don't blame him for wanting to get out of there right now.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Who could blame him for wanting to get out of there? I mean, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
The Deshaun Watson thing is going to wind up going down as one of the worst transactions.
Not one of.
So perhaps the worst when all is said and done. That's not.
I mean, think about it.
That's what I'm
consider
saying.
what it is.
Not at all.
The Browns have plenty of experience with public relations disasters. That's one area where they really.
I'm only saying this in the context of, well, they don't have to do anything. You're right. Look, Andrew Berry could just sit there and go, hey, look, I hold the cards here. I don't have to move you. Well, go ahead and do that if you want to alienate whatever is left of your fan base up there.
That's right.
Is it worth saying out loud that they were in the playoffs last year? Like,
sure.
I mean, I get that we can make fun of them and they are easily make funnable.
Good roster, good coaching, everything.
Absolutely.
They're saddled with this quarterback problem that's never going to get solved.
But where did it start to rot?
Right.
At the very top, underneath the GM, underneath the head coach, at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, that's
and from there, it just infiltrated everything.
Yep.
It's the worst contract in history.
Yep.